Thanks so much, Tom. We're super excited to show you guys what we've been working on over the last couple of weeks today, and that is Trippy, your adventure companion. But first, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the Trippy team. I'm Taylor. I'm in the Army National Guard, and I'm going to be talking to you today about why we created Trippy.
I'm Charles. I'm a Navy veteran, and I'll be running you through a demonstration of the Trippy app.
I'm Jeremy. I'm an Air Force veteran, and I'll be talking to you about the tools and technologies we've used.
I'm Wilson. I'm a Navy veteran, and I'll be telling you about the future of Trippy.
I'm Brian, and I'm a retired Air Force veteran, and I'm going to be talking to you about the challenges we faced making this project.
I'm Kyle. I'm an Army veteran, and I'm going to be talking about what Trippy is. So what is Trippy? Trippy was designed for the unhurried road tripper who believes that the trip is about the journey, not the destination. Trippy is an aggregator of points of interest based on the user's preferences that allows the user to select a starting point and a destination, provides them with a variety of places to explore along the way based on their selected criteria. I'm going to hand it off to Taylor to talk about why Trippy.
Thanks, Kyle. So we decided to create Trippy because we all had a common thought after being in quarantine for most of 2020 due to the pandemic. We needed to get out and create new experiences, but we didn't want to have to scrutinize over all the stressful details of planning a road trip that's actually meant to be a reprieve. So Trippy is a stress-free app designed for those that just want to enjoy the trip. The problem that Trippy set out to solve is that our competitors have a paywall in place that limits users to only experiencing the most basic functionality that their sites have to offer. They also have extremely limited customization options. You have a start point and an end point on a trip with a few stops in between, but that's about it. Their user interface is also extremely chaotic and hard to navigate, especially if you're on their site for the very first time. The solution is Trippy. It's completely free, and trips are tailored specifically to each individual user, as well as a customizable user profile. Our user-friendly swipe functionality also eliminates the possibility of that chaotic, hard to navigate user interface. I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Charles, who's going to give you a demonstration of Trippy.
Thanks, Taylor. I think in lieu of graduation, I want to plan a grad trip to Cleveland, Ohio to see my brother. So let's go ahead and log in. Awesome. And like I said, we're going to go to Cleveland. So let's type that in, Cleveland. And I want to do a medium budget. Let's start on the 15th. And I want to come back on the 19th. And so I want to drive, let's say, up to 400 miles a day and up to 8. We'll do a bed and breakfast. We'll do a unique stay. And I want to get there as fast as possible. Cool. And now this takes us to our swipe wizard. So let's say yes to that. Nope. 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 Definitely. Nope. 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 And not today. Yes. Awesome. And now this takes us to our map with our search results. And so if we go through here, let me see. I want to see if I can add something that's 5.0 rating. There's got to be one around here. Oh, there's one. Conquer Escape Room. Let's add that. And I saw something up here that kind of piqued my interest. So let's see where you are. Oh, there it is. Bay Beach Amusement Park. So I'm going to add that. Cool. And now I also have the option to add things from the map. So let's see here. I did want to go hiking. So let's add that. And of course, let's add in a water park. And let's add one more. Oh, Cedar Point. You have to hit Cedar Point when you go in Ohio. And you can see our current stops here on the left. And so I'm going to go ahead and update the route. 22-hour drive. That's actually not bad. And now you can see all our stops here. And I'm going to go ahead and finalize this route. Cool. And from here, we can save the route for future use. So let's do that. Say grad trip. I'm going to go ahead and save. Awesome. And now here's the trip that we just made, as well as some other ones that I've taken in the past. For example, this one right here, I took from Texas to Florida, or a more scenic route from Los Angeles to Denver. And one of the cool things about Trippy is the community aspect. So if we can click on this photo right here, we're able to add comments. Let's see. Thanks, Trippy. That was great. Awesome. So let's go ahead and post that. It's a little bit of a shameless plug. Perfect. And you can kind of see how simple and easy to use Trippy is. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and log out, and I'm going to turn it over to Jeremy to talk about the technologies that we used.
Thanks, Charles. We wrote our application using Python with the Django REST framework talking to our Postgres database. We made our pages with JavaScript and React to help give our users a very smooth experience. We used Express to communicate with various Google APIs, and we used Bootstrap to give our web pages a very uniform appearance. We started out by brainstorming using a mural board and putting all of our ideas together there. And then after that, we wireframed out some ideas in Figma and really got a good grasp of what it was that we wanted to accomplish. After that, we built our to-dos and our backlog in a Trello board and made sure we kept that up to date and tracked our progress. And finally, we used Slack chat and Zoom video conferencing to stay in constant communication with our daily stand up and stand down. And with that, I'll pass it off to Brian to talk about some of the speed bumps.
Thanks, Jeremy. There are a lot of challenges we faced creating this project. Learning to code on a collaborative project is challenging in and of its own right. Ensuring that we didn't step on each other's code, breaking a working app after merging a team member's code, and figuring out lesser known Git commands when things broke were common at first until we got our workflow down. Picking and implementing the right third-party APIs to get our locations from was hard to decide. Cost, simplicity, data that we needed to provide for specific tasks resulted in research that let us pick Google Places, Destinations, and Maps APIs. Handling all the edge cases from manipulating components to handle different data types returned by Google's API was a challenge. This led to a lot of code being written and tested. Now I'll pass it off to Wilson to talk about what's down the road.
Thanks, Brian. We want to be able to support the ability to take in user preferences for destinations and give them a tailored option to choose from. Like if they really want to go somewhere with beaches and amusement parks, we could suggest Santa Cruz or Los Angeles. Additionally, we wanted to tailor the trip to their vehicle type. So if they were driving an RV, we could offer them stops with RV parks instead of hotels. In the same vein, we also wanted to build a page where road trips could be shared and rated, as well as some Trippy built themed road trips, like historic landmarks or an off trip could be shared and used by our users. Finally, we have some ideas to increase our optimization that would speed up the process of multiple API requests. With that, I'd like to open it up to any questions that you might have.
Awesome. Great job, Trippy. We have a couple of questions. If I wanted to take Trippy on the road, is there any way I can export it to some third party like Google Maps or Apple Maps or anything like that?
At this time, we don't have the functionality, but since we closely work with Google Maps, I'm sure it's something we can accomplish in the near future.
Okay, awesome. Also, with the Google Maps, how did you determine whether to use Google Maps or MapOps or any other type of the mapping software?
I could take this one. So we decided on using Google Maps just for like, there's so many like out of the box functionality that we kind of needed, like the places services and the location services and the ability to, like, if you saw me being able to hover over an icon and kind of just show you the address and whatnot. So that's pretty much like what led us to our decision to using that.
Awesome. What was one of the bigger technical hurdles that you had to overcome?
I could take that as well. So one of the problems with Google Maps, or specifically the Google Maps JavaScript API, is you actually do not have access to it until the component mounts. So when you're going through the swipe wizard, you're building like a big request. And if we were just to send that as soon as the component mounts, it might take a hot minute for the request to come in. So what we ended up doing was we ended up sending up Node and as a proxy. So when the user was swiping, we were sending that off to the backend to make a request. And by the time that the map actually loaded up, we actually had a polyline, which is like which is the route pretty much. And then we had markers. So by the time that the component mounts, like the user's not waiting, like maybe 15, 20 seconds for that ginormous like request coming in.
Awesome. Our last question is, what did you use for like campground information? Does it include dispersed camping or boondocking sites?
So I can take that. That's one of the added functionalities that we really wanted to have more of. We weren't quite able to get to all of the camping functionality that we wanted to have. We found a couple APIs that would be really useful for that, and we started to research them, but we just didn't quite have the time to implement it.
Awesome. Great job, Trippy. That concludes the questions